Who doesn't want to save some money?
Oh, and you know we can't afford the fun pack. What do you think, money grows on trees in this family? Take it back. Get some Pampers for you and your brother while you're at it.
Today we are going to talk about how to save money when buying sports cards. Stick around. To all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends, I hope that you are having an amazing day. We've got some really fun basketball playoff stuff going on. 2 Game 7s, amazing series between the Bucks and the Celtics and the Mavs and the Suns. It's living up to all the hype. What do you guys think? Who's going to win these series? How do you see it going down? Friends, if you are new here and looking for that daily sports card collectibles content with a little bit of a finance twist to it, hit the subscribe button, all the buttons down below. Also connect with me on IG at Sports Card Dad. I'm also on Twitter, the Sports Card Dad. All right, we're entering into some weird economic times.
S&P 100 index lost more than 150 points in the first 2.5 hours of trading, then plunged to 302.1 points down when Wall Street opened.
I think we can all agree on that, and everybody is trying to save money. And this is important whether you are a sports card investor or you consider yourself just strictly a collector. If you're an investor and you're trying to make money on sports cards, then your entry point is the most important variable of all the variables. If you are a collector, the price point is just as important because the lower the price point, the more cards you can buy. It's a win-win for everybody. The first way you can save money when buying sports cards is limiting your money on breaks and ripping wax. Buying packs, ripping packs. And I know some people are going to be like, boo, and that's fine. I totally understand. If this is disposable income and it's just more of a sports betting, daily fantasy thing, and you get a thrill out of a break, and that's kind of your fun, is camaraderie with your buddies and all that, I get it. I totally get it. Problem I'm seeing now, though, this year especially, is there just doesn't seem to be enough value in the boxes. There's not enough return on the money. There's a zillion different parallels, zebra, ostrich, Terminator, skinned parallels. There's so many different parallels now that it's just very, very diluted on a lot of the new products. So you're just not seeing that same sort of value on the secondary market after you open the box. Additionally, new product is still incredibly expensive, which if you're buying boxes yourself, that's one thing. It's expensive. And then if you're buying into breaks, it's expensive because the breakers have to buy the boxes and they're expensive. So it's all expensive. I talk on the channel all the time. If I want to rip wax, I'll get junk wax era stuff. I'll get 89 Pro Set football, 91 Skybox basketball, or something like that. You can pull Michael Jordan and Magic Johnsons and different cards, Larry Birds. And yes, they're not huge money cards that are coming out of those boxes, but if it's just a matter of you want to open packs and you have fun opening packs, and that's kind of a nostalgic thing.
Please, pick up some. Please, keep Dad.
Then for me, why not buy a pack that's $1 instead of these boxes? If you're lucky to get a retail box at Walmart or Target, you're still paying $5, $10 a pack. If you break down how much that actual box costs, what, $20, $30, $40 for a box, and then you get a couple of packs out of it, a few packs, 5 packs, whatever, you break down the cost, it is a lot more expensive than it was back in those days. They printed a lot more back then, but still, you understand my point. If it's just a function of I want to open packs just because I like that and it's fun, there are inexpensive ways to do that. Secondly, comparing selling sites when buying singles. New technology is coming out to where now we don't have to necessarily go and open up all the tabs. Hobby.exchange is a great site that I like to use for this. And they actually search cards through Alt, ComC, eBay, MySlabs, PWCC, all on one website. So it's very helpful. It's a great free resource that you can go and you can look up cards. And that way you're not having to go up to one, to each one trying to figure out where the best prices are. Now, still doesn't hurt to go to the individual sites and do it that way in case the data is not pulling properly or whatever, but hobby.exchange is a great site for that. But the main point of this is just that card prices fluctuate a ton depending on what site you might be on, and it's all kind of random. It might be a great deal on eBay. It might be a great deal in that PWCC weekly auction. Might be a great deal on MySlabs. And so keeping track of all of that stuff can save a ton of money, even for cards that are considered rare, scarce. folks, let's face it. Yes, there are some very, very rare scarce cards that pop up every year, 2 years, 3 years for sale. But those are few and far between in the overall hobby space. Most cards, even the rare / scarce ones, even numbered cards to $49, $99, $199, whatever, they do pop up on occasion. It's not all the time, but they pop up every couple of weeks, every month, whatever, on these sites. And so it's incredibly important to be able to go back and forth and to be able to just check those price points, because they can differ greatly. We're in kind of a weird buying time and a weird selling time, but a weird buying time where something might sell on eBay for this price and sell very differently on my slab. So it's critical to be making those comparisons. Next, in-person negotiations. We've seen kind of the rise of card shows since the pandemic has kind of waned. You're seeing it all over the place. The attendance at card shows, whether it's large ones, regional ones, small local ones, attendance is up, and there is a lot of people that I think are enjoying getting back out there, the camaraderie of being around other collectors and being able to buy and sell in person. When frankly, when you go on a lot of the selling sites online, there's definitely convenience to being able to go online and click and buy something, but there's also hassles that go along with online buying as well. So getting in person and negotiating with people and building relationships with dealers, and also gives you the ability to do flexible type deals, whereas on an online selling site, a lot of times you're limited to make an offer and, buy it now, or there's an auction. If you're in person, you can say like, hey, I'll trade you for this, or I'll do this or do that. The trade nights, whatever. Oh, I can pay cash for that. Can you take PayPal, whatever. So you've got all sorts of different options, and in-person negotiation just opens doors. And again, once you've bought from a dealer in person and you start to build that rapport and they know you, then you can go back, buy more. And then they give you deals. As you're buying in the future, they give you deals. I saw this firsthand at the Raleigh Card Show when I went with Chris, baseball card collector, investor, dealer. He came down to Raleigh. He was doing his North America tour where he comes over from Europe and does all the card shows. He stopped into Raleigh and we went to that local Raleigh show, and there was dealers that he knew there from the Philly show that were like, hey, Chris, how you doing? He did a bunch of deals with them, and it was hassle-free because he is a longtime customer for these people. So it gave him a leg up when buying cards because he already knew a lot of the dealers. Building dealer relationships, very, very critical. And don't forget, when negotiating in person, cash is king. A lot of people are trying to trade cards. They go to the card show, they've got Pelican cases, they've got different things, and they're really trying to trade, or they're trying to do kind of like 75% trade, 25% cash. If you are carrying the cash, then you really kind of have that leverage. You really do, because dealers go to shows, they pay X amount of dollars to set up. They go there to sell cards. They want to sell cards. They want to wheel and deal. And for the first time in really 2.5 years, it's more of a buying market than a selling market. So now things are starting to open up a little bit. There might be certain cards you're like, whoa, this is way out of my price range. And now you look back 6 months later, a year later, and you're like, whoa, this thing has actually come back down to where I could get in on this card or get close to it or whatever. So this is important. Cash is king. Don't forget that. And lastly, I want to emphasize, don't obsess over the last comp on a card. This is something that is very important. Everyone's so focused on comps, and it's just that last sale. But also keep in mind that wherever you're seeing that eBay or a data tool, it's not necessarily capturing every single sale. It's not capturing every private sale. So it's really, what are they going to accept and what are you willing to pay? That's the bottom line. Now, if they get upset over a low ball offer, then you kind of have to gauge that. You have to be able to read people, and maybe they'll say like, hey, I don't want to deal with you because you're going way too low. Fine, but I think you can still kind of work those angles, and I think that during this sort of environment, people are going to respect the fact that they're going to get, dealers are going to get low ball offers on things compared to what they've seen over the last couple of years. And again, let's talk about it again, that the last 2.5 years selling cards has been an anomaly in the sports card hobby. So prices that people have been used to being able to sell for just are not reality now, and probably for a lot of cards may never be a reality again. So that's something for collectors, investors, long-term investors, whatever. Keep that in mind. To me, a lot of the holdup on there being more volume of sales in cards has more to do with people just kind of holding out. And it could be a couple of different reasons why. They're holding out because they might have bought high and they don't want to lose, they don't want to lose a lot of money, or they want to limit how much they're losing. Fair enough. Or it's somebody that bought it 5 years ago and they're up 5x, but they don't want to sell it for less than 5x. They don't want to sell it for 3x, 4x maybe. So there's that too. You have people that have been buying cards for a long time, still have these cards, and they're just trying to figure out where their exit point is going to be. But the most important thing to remember is this is a fun hobby that was built on these types of negotiations. Going back to when I started collecting in the late 80s, early 90s, there was no recent comps really. We had Beckett price guides, which dealers didn't look at the Beckett price guide and say like, okay, I will sell to you at that Beckett price guide number. Just didn't happen. Frankly, I remember going to a lot of shows where the stuff was priced way higher than what the Beckett price guide had in it. So, the whole idea of like, we've got to follow certain strategic comps and this sort of thing, they're a guideline. They're a starting point. It's something you can say like, well, this is a similar card that sold for this price. Could you do this? Could you do that? It's all going to depend. And like I've said in a lot of videos, there's been a lot of mid-level cards that have been considered high-end for a little bit that I think really belong more in mid-level range. And I think those are the ones you're going to see kind of pricing continue to come down on or start to come down on. Never forget that the market for any particular card, whether we're talking about Honus Wagner T206 or we're talking about Luka Prism base rookie cards, the market for any particular card is ever changing. It's changing all the time. So someone can give you a song and dance about this, that, or whatever, but in reality, it just boils down to how much you're willing to pay and how much they're willing to accept, and kind of grinding and figuring out the best way to meet in the middle. In negotiations, it does help that both sides feel like they've gained, that they have been victorious. It's helpful because if you can be a great negotiator and always get the winning end of the deal, and then nobody wants to deal with you. They're like, okay, I know this guy is going to just come at me. He's going to come at me for every last cent on this particular card. I'd just rather not deal with that person. It happens. So you can get the winning edge on a deal, on every single deal, and you'll just find that you won't get any repeat dealings. That'll be it. Guys, I hope that this video was helpful, as we are all trying to save money in life. I think now at this point, we're trying to save money, and especially saving money buying sports cards, the hobby that we love. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.